It's also important to understand that the Lakota people understand that the Missouri River is a living relative and that they have a duty to continue their indigenous stewardship of their relative. They have ceremonies to show their relationship with their relative. We don't understand that there's no other water out there. It's very dry. And without the Missouri River, the Lakota people couldn't live. None of these illegalities by the company or law enforcement have even been looked at by the state. I took or listened to interviews of dozens of these victims, and the trauma that these water protectors suffered was intense. And they would only do this to Indians. Think of how they reacted to the Bundys, who took an armed occupation of federal land. Even when there's direct conflict in our cities, they don't react like they did here, only to Indians. And we have to call to stop the violence against the peaceful Lakota people, stop the Dakota Access Pipeline, leave the oil in the ground, honor the treaties. Water is life. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone for coming, to Nancy for inviting us in the film here. I have been to Standing Rock 3 times, but I have to tell you, I've spent a lot of time in a war zone in Iraq, and I was embedded with the U.S. military as a photographer during the invasion of Iraq. I was there in February 2004 when and several times, many times up until early 2011. And this is a war zone. This is absolutely a war zone, and it shakes me to my core to see this here in my country. You know, please do everything you can. There's a We the People petition to the White House. Jam those phone lines to the White House. Call your representatives from local up to your senator, and then ask 10 people you know to do the same. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming again, and thank you so much, Sid and Betty, for joining us and being on the panel and making time to do this. It's really an honor to have both of you here. Yes.
This is an amazing film, and it touches on so many different topics that issues that we deal with on a regular basis, all of our citizens. I just want you all to think for just a moment how that would all make you feel personally if you could sit there and just close your eyes for a minute and think about your grandmother or your great-grandmother being laid to rest and then having her dug up, and how that would actually make you feel. Because that's what's happening to those people in Standing Rock. As we all have a stake in this, it's not just affecting our community. It's not just affecting the Ramapo or the Standing Rock Sioux. It affects each and every one of us, native and non-native alike. What kind of earth condition do you want to leave Mother Earth for our children? And that's what we need to also have you develop as well, if you don't have that already, about being grateful and giving thanks every day and walking about peacefully on this earth with a good mind and working in unity to solve these problems and crises. So with that, I'm going to turn this over now to our Canada.
The movie touched on so many issues that we, like Betty said, we deal with every day, but we do have a problem with getting that message out. We don't see it. We see very little on the news at night, looking for things. Listen to NPR, I get a little more news than that. But I think we have to look to the youth who have this social media, and I think it's an awesome tool where you can communicate. We need to be thankful. Let's not take it for granted of the things that we do have. Educating people and getting people involved. Standing Rock is It's probably every, if you go to travel around to other native nations, Canada, US, South America, very similar problems all around, very similar. Non-native, native, there are so many issues with the environment that you can't help but go outside and you see the changes that are happening. 90 degrees, and then you have rains, and then you have floods, and then you have fires. And everything is in the extreme now. It's hard not to notice this. And with the leaders of the world, with this whole presidential election, not one word about the climate, storms, not one at all. And it just happened. This big storm happened, you know, and it just putting their head in the sand, it seems like. But it's up to us as people, you know, concerned about the next generations that have to get that word out.
There's too little awareness of this because of the discrimination against Native people. Native people are invisible in this country because of what happened. People don't want to look at that, and therefore they don't want to see Native people.
And so we all have to be very mindful and pick our words very carefully so that we don't fall into that same, that same category. And I don't think it could get any lower than it has gotten. So with that, I just want you all to know how important it is that you're here and that you're listening, and that you guys can make the difference. It's very important that you know that.